The armies of India and Pakistan on Thursday announced that they will strictly adhere to a ceasefire along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, this has been a low-yield, high-cost confrontation that hasn't served either India or Pakistan's strategic aims. So, what really led to the discreet agreement between the two nuclear powers? What happened behind closed doors? Did US secretly nudge both the nations to the negotiation table? Does it have anything to do with the disengagement with the Chinese troops at LAC in Ladakh? To discuss all this and more, I'm your host Pratibha, and to get a better understanding of what to expect, I spoke to Partha Sarthi, the former Indian High Commissioner to Pakistan and veteran diplomat. Let's hear what he said. So Partha Sarthi, this is, coming after months of a bitter relationship between India and Pakistan. There's finally seems to be a ray of hope, as we are seeing now with a ceasefire pact that has been made between the two. But after Pulwama as well, this is a decision that has been taken. So does it indicate the easing of relations between the two countries?
There has been this tussle between the military and the Imran Khan government ever since the inception. And finally, I think General Bajwa has prevailed. Because what I know of Imran Khan, he shoots from the hip and he is given to being rather solicitous. And therefore, there was no point in sort of, we felt talking to him. And he was, the language he used was what no other Prime Minister of Pakistan has used, because in diplomacy, heads of government stay above this so that they can talk to each other. You can't do that because Pakistan wanted the level of relations to be lowered, and therefore they didn't want the ambassadors in the capital. And I suppose we will first have to get back to normal, at least having ambassadors in each other's capital. And let us see how it goes. I frankly don't see much hope. If this is the first time I'm seeing hope in the army, which seems to realize the dangers the country is facing as the Americans prepare to leave Afghanistan, than in the Prime Minister.
So, but we need to look at it a bit cautiously. But, this sudden change also comes in the backdrop of the disengagement along Ladakh that we're seeing with China as well. So, is that a reason why we're seeing this sudden thaw in India-Pakistan relations?
Well, let me say China did not leave exactly in glory. Uh, in terms of what we know of civilian casualties on their of military casualties on their sides at what happened in Galwan. According to the Russians, 45 Chinese soldiers were killed in that fight out. That's not something the Chinese like, and they've hidden it thus far. It'll become public in due course. But the Chinese, I think, have come to realize that at least for the present, there is no point taking on a China which has brought its tanks and big guns, the air force in high visibility into the region. That's not something China would want. So therefore, they have decided to pull back from selected reasons. I think we should stick to our objective, which we had said earlier, that you held certain positions in the 1st of April last year. You suddenly moved in. So really a troop withdrawal would have to go for you, especially from Depsang and other areas, to go back to where you were. In relation to China, we have to be realistic about one fact. China is seeking domination in Asia. It has forcibly acquired maritime territory from 9 of its neighbors. It refuses to sign any agreement with them. It had a long time border dispute with Russia. And it has, as I said, maritime problems all around. And it has used force in international waters. So I think they have a troubled neighborhood. And despite their backing Myanmar, the fact of the matter is they back Myanmar by blackmail. They support the separatist outfits within Myanmar. So I think dealing with China is going to be more complicated. With Pakistan, we'll see. Don't forget that with Musharraf, he and the then Mr. Vajpayee reached an agreement in 2004 that aid to terrorism will stop in Pakistan and we'll have a dialogue. We had a very good dialogue for about 3-4 years. There was progress even on Kashmir, but they went back to terrorism when Musharraf became weak. So I think the fact is, if you are serious, you can move ahead. I think we should move ahead. I mean, I find the president being pathetic that their children can't come here and our children can't go there, and at the same time, they cannot visit their religious places of worship here, and we cannot do likewise there. This is a natural situation. So at least at a people's level, we should be behaving in a more civilized manner.
Okay.
We'll wait. We'll have to see how it goes.
What we've seen, it's dicey, but what we've seen with Pulwama, what happened after that, we saw there was a lull in the talks that were going on as well. But now, over the last few days, there's been a change in the COVID-19 virtual meeting as well. We saw a change in tone from Pakistan. We also saw India allowing the airspace to the Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan. So this time around, because it has come after such a huge gap, because the stakes are much higher, do you see this as a more sustainable way to take it forward?
With Imran Khan, nothing's predictable. The
Okay.
man, I have known him from the days he was captaining Pakistan against India, which was 1982.
Hmm.
He was pretty vicious about India even then.
Okay.
So this is not a new quality in him. Let us see how it goes, because you have to make the try. Who would have believed that negotiations could lead us as far as it did with Musharraf till he became weaker? We even almost had a framework for Kashmir in hand. So whenever negotiations come, chances for dialogue come, I say take it, but be prepared for the worst. Don't get too over optimistic about some smiles and good wishes.
Take
We
everything
have
with a
to
pinch of salt.
no, go by the hard situation on the ground.
Okay. Okay. Also, I want to talk about the United States as well, change in leadership that we have seen. So, this changing equation of India with Pakistan as well as China also comes just weeks after President Biden took charge. So, what does that signify?
It seems to signify that both Pakistan and China attach great importance to the United States. So we should go about that. We will on what we have to do. I think the Biden administration has a pretty good idea. Every one of these president appointees are people we, including myself, have interacted with over a period of time. They know India well, and I think the Chinese are going to get a tougher, tougher lot to deal with.
Okay. So, lastly, I want to ask you after what has happened until now, can you say that we can build towards a more peaceful time between the two countries? You said that we can never be too sure about it. You know, is that what you
You see,
think? Is the final takeaway?
my takeaway with both Pakistan and China is try your best, but be prepared for the worst.
Okay.
That's it,
Okay.
because it's unpredictable. In the case of China, it's ambitions, which are falling apart wherever they went. They're in Nepal, they're already in trouble. They've been thrown out of Mauritius, Maldives. Um, and their only real instrument is Pakistan, and Sri Lanka has got itself caught in a debt trap. So our advice to them is go easy on your borrowing from the Chinese. So everything's possible in this convoluted world.
So there you heard it. Hope for the best, but also prepare for the worst. That's the word. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like, share and subscribe to TV9 Digital. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.